one of the things I did to get closer to the father and the mother um, was I had to go through a process to figure out what I created. Like, did I go across my timeline and did I create chaos? Did I create instability? Did I create nonsense? Did I create any shame, doubt, guilt, whatever on myself or anyone else? Okay. It's like a process of elimination. And then if you do find those things, right, I would address it. If those people were around and if I was still around them, I would address it with them. If they were not around, I did the traditional things like you write a letter. Either you can mail that letter to that person or you can still keep that letter in your journal or you do have the opportunity to burn it, you know. Um However, the main thing is that once you start addressing your inconsistencies of any kind that would have you in the negative in how you treat yourself and others, it starts to balance back out, real easy because it's like every time you tackle uh, uh, an invisible problem, it's invisible on this outside of this world, but it's very visible inside. And it creates some kind of hurt or trauma or drama or instability within yourself. That's always an indication that you just have to go within to turn that around. And sometimes turn that around might just be just that letter. Other times it might be seeing that person face to face or going to visit their gravesite, you know, or it's going to be something on the lines of, hey, I stole at this particular time in my life. And I made a vow to myself, I'm going to give back, whether it's to the same people or different people. But I'm telling you, let's say if it's different people, yes, it does raise, the intellectual understanding in God's eyes. But if you are able to go to those people, and I'm just using stealing as an example, but if you are able to go to those people and give back what you have stolen, it does that balance faster. It starts to make like your heart lighter, the mood, the stress, the anxiety, the depression, whatever it is, it starts to lift faster off of you. And it, what I had to think about, and I'm just making sure I just try to give you guys the best way because I did this. And I would visualize in my mind, yea, do I walk through the valley of death or the shadow of death, because it is essentially a death. You know, there there's a broken situation, relationship, friendship, circumstance. It's broken, and you have to mend it. The best way you can, you have to mend it. If it is hard for you to do that, you still must make steps on a daily basis to get to that part of everything mendable, you know. And the way God said that to me, He's like, I know you're tired. I know you're sick. You know, He said, but I need you to start showing your face. I said, okay. He said, no, no, no. I need you to start going on outside, going wherever you need to go. Go to places that you have been, you haven't been. But I need for the enemy to see your face because that's going to start to shut their mouths. And then that's going to start getting them to understand that I am here and I'm not going anywhere. And whether they like it or not, they're going to pay attention to you. So the reason I went from kind of just telling you how to clear out some of that bad karma and going through a process to get there, whether you're writing names down or you're going through that journal or you're telling people physically, whichever way your healing process is, it gets you closer to God. It gets you closer to a celestial freedom. And what that means is the devils of this world can see that you are not touchable, that you cannot be put into that matrix and be confined to it. Every bad incident, doesn't matter if it's from childhood, friends, family, and I know it's hard. You know, if you were just beaten and just, always getting a beating and all, whatever it is, right? And you don't understand, like, dang, my mom was mean, my dad was mean, and they did this to me, that to me, da 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 da, right? And you want to blame them. So that doesn't get you good karma points when you want to do that. Whether they were there to provide or not provide for you, right? It doesn't get you good karma points when you want to keep pointing out those flaws to your parents, especially when they're living, okay? Because what you have to think about is whatever information that was available to your parents at the time when they were growing up, whatever they learned and they took away from their growth in life, that is what they used to be there for you. Because I know when I do like this with my faith, I know somebody going to be like, well, bitch, that ain't helping me. You have to see what is called like that silver lining. It's like when we first got to this planet, were we great? No, we worked at those things. It got better over time, and as generations became, intertwined with each other, then circumstances, gotten better. And then there were certain things like standards put in place. So if you didn't feel that the standards that were put in place in your life as growing up and you wanted to put better standards out there, you do that. And then you apply that with your family. But if you still have unresolved issues from any portion of your past, it will always hinder you from being the greatest person that you can be and going forward, without guilt, and you must tackle that. And that means you have to go backwards in order to go forward. Because when you grow in emotional intelligence, mental intelligence, you can't just think in reference to your ego or, oh, this happened to me and I'm like this because this happened to me, and oh, it wasn't right what happened to me. And I'm going to tell you exactly what God always puts on my mind. That shit happens to me every fucking day. That's how God is. Y'all do fuck shit to me every damn day. But I still got to be God. I still got to walk upright. I still got to be straight. I don't get to think about myself. I just got to keep saving y'all when I done gave y'all all the tools to save yourself. I done gave you all the tools to look beyond and to look within and to look around and to look above. So God gets frustrated. The female and the male, that zygote is a beautiful blend, And just like when you get frustrated, so do they. But they still have to remain in this energy of the greater of the planet. Not just the greater of yourself, the greater of the planet. And you could pray all day. You can believe. You can have all the faith in the world. But when you don't commit any of those three things to action, it doesn't mean shit. Because your intentions and actions is included in your intentions. They must align at all times. You have to look at your life as a test all the time. And you must do the right thing to pass that test. And some of you could be just looking at that shit like, that's boring. You only think of it as boring because of how churches run. I hate to say it like that. It's run very like orderly and boring, or they if they don't sing the same songs all the time, they stay according to the program. And because God is everywhere and nowhere all at once, and he's going to all of these different places, he or she does not get to follow a set program. Things are always changing no matter what. When you have a new thought, that's a change. When you step to the left versus the right, that's the change. God is saying, man, shake your shit up. Try some new shit. Show me something different. So if I get a moment to myself and I want to look down on this planet Earth and check out any of my children, you owe it to me to at least show me some growth. It doesn't have to be really big. It can start very small. But the fact that you're doing it, you're not pretending to do it, but you're doing it. And what I say by pretending, if you go to church, you read your scriptures, right? You come home and you praying about it, but let somebody say boo to you in the wrong way, and then you get all up in your feelings and you feel so victimized, and you start on your little roll again. If you don't know how to picture who God is to you, I don't care. You could picture me, because I'm telling you how God wakes me up. God will be like, girl, you better get over yourself and get back to this mission. You better shake that shit on off, because if you are truly a child of God, you're going to get hit with so much shit. You're going to be put into so many fucked up positions. You're going to have to deal with the asinine nonsense that you don't even think exists on this planet. Oh, but it does. And see, that's what God is saying. I didn't have to deal. I keep dealing with this shit all the time. I don't complain about it. I don't have the opportunity to complain about it. And the main reason why God does it is because people don't look at either of them as having a body and being a earthly being at one point in time. See, wherever your planet you start at, and you create and you elevate, and then your spirit, your soul goes to the next planet. That doesn't mean that you don't have access still to this planet. But it's kind of like those other planets. It's like the people on those planets, they're older than us. They're wiser than us. They're in their grown woman, grown man shit. We're like their kids, and we should inspire to be like them. It's one of those things where if you had truly common sense, right, you would just be like, well, if the aliens come, why the fuck would I want to shoot them? Why the fuck would I want to just beat them down? Why wouldn't I want to form some kind of alliance with them so I can learn some shit? Because they're obviously smarter than us. We can't get through the firmament, but they can. They know some shit that we don't know. At some point, everybody's brain needs to understand. Start learning some shit that you don't know. That's how you get closer to God. But as you're trying to get closer, fix all your past shit. Just fix it. Mend it. Find a common, just a balance. Because see, when you actually heal that connection, that other person with that invisible cord that's attached to them from your connection, they can feel it too. And that's no exaggeration. They can feel it. And a lot of times when there's past drama, karma, or trauma, you know what I'm saying?